Ladies and gentlemen, what's up? BC here again. Welcome back to another episode of Supreme Being. Look, today I designated this one and I titled it The Little Extra Something to Add, right? And although this can be perceived and understood as a little something extra, in reality, as we discuss it today, it's not anything extra. It's what should already have been there, right? Let me give you an example. So I was talking to one of my team members earlier today, and he said he met with somebody. Basically, again, if you're not in real estate, I'll explain. But basically, he met with a for sale by owner that he was going door to door and ended up seeing and had a conversation with them. Right now, based on what they told him and his responses, I said, "Oh man, you left so much on the table." Right? Like they gave you more than enough ammunition for you to at least set up a meeting with them, but he didn't set up a meeting with them. So, we were discussing it, and really, at the end of the day, it really boiled down to what I named this podcast, which is like, say what needs to be said, see things as they are. And then when it comes time to perform and do what you do, again, it could be talking to somebody on the phone, your presentation, right? Doing your job, sweeping floors, whatever you do. Man, do it and do it to its fullest, right? Because as we were going back and forth, I highlighted to my team member, I said, dude, I'm not saying or doing anything special, right? I'm just doing that. If we looked at this objectively and we looked at the proper sequence of what to do, it would be that, what I just told you, right? And all of it is within your capacity. You can do it, right? So it's a matter of execution at that point. But really, whenever the moment calls for it, right? Like if we're going to talk about a little extra something to add, well, for me, when I meet with somebody or talk to somebody, it's the performance aspect of it. Man, I want to deliver my stories masterfully. I want to really incorporate my body language. Like for those of you who watch my stuff online or part of my coaching, you've come to the events, you know that I embody everything that I speak. That's one of the reasons I think I'm a higher tier speaker is my body language is 100% in tune with the delivery of the things that I'm saying, period. Right? Now, can I not do that? Sure. However, I wouldn't be as effective if I didn't. So, of course, I give it that little extra something, the little extra sauce. Now, is it extra? No, it's extra in the beginning when you don't know it. Right? Or when you're nervous or you're still not a high level practitioner, but it's not anything new. When you look at it, it's what you're supposed to do. It's the highest level, proper execution. If I make it to this tier, 1 tier, 2 tier, 3 tier, right? If we're going to create a system for like mastery, then it's just what's required or what's a part of that tier. Boom. And you would hit it and you would do it. Same thing with the level of questions and, being a little bit more insisting. I said, man, you ask those people, going back to the, example with my agent, I said, dude, you only asked them one time for a meeting? Oh man, based on what they told you in their current situation, minimum, you could have asked 4 or 5 times, right? And that little extra something, like I named this, is the difference between it being pushy and it not being pushy. Because I can ask somebody to do something 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times and ask them if they feel like I was pushing them, and they'll tell you no. Because the little extra that I do in my delivery makes it seem as if I'm not pushing them, right? Even though technically, if we're going to look at it from the outside, somebody can make an argument. Well, you're asking too much. Forget that for a second, right? How about your delivery? Is your delivery to that point in that scenario to where it doesn't feel to them that you're pushing them, right? Because that becomes the key. So, that's just one situation in regards to the performance aspect and we could say the delivery, right? In this particular scenario with my agent. How many other things? Like how many of you, when you show up to work, you don't have a smile on your face and you don't have a very inviting or enthusiastic energy? That's that little extra something to add that goes a long way, that actually in turn not only develops your character, but bumps you up on the list of everybody else to the point where they're like, man, I like having so-and-so around. They're always in a good mood. They're always smiling. They always come in with good energy, right? And how much effort would it take to do that? Very little to do that on a consistent basis. And after a while, it just becomes your way of being. Same thing with me. I didn't always used to be smiley and bubbly and social and all this shit like I am now. I'd be like, oh my God, man, like you must have been born with those skills. No, dude. I added a little extra something all the time until it became a part of me, period. The cool thing is you guys already have a formula, especially if you learn from me on what the right things are to do. Why aren't you doing that more often? And if it means you need to add a little extra to what you're doing, add a little extra, man. Because over time, you're not adding it anymore. It just becomes a part of you. And now the game changes and it's much better for you, right? But you got to really tap into this, y'all. This is the path of the overachiever or the person who gets farther ahead. Because I assume if you're listening to me, you're not satisfied with being average or the status quo. You want higher income, better personal development, more confidence, better speaking skills, better ability to market yourself, better at relationships, better with the opposite sex. I mean, you want those things to a degree, all of them, some of them, right? So you have to be doing these things. Like as an example, out in the dating market, right? What separates you? A lot of times it's that little extra something that makes you appealing to everybody, right? Like I always told people, if you want to stand out to the opposite sex, be a masterful communicator, especially if you're a man. If you're a woman, that's a tremendous bonus too, but especially as a man, because we're judged more on that, right? Do you have social savviness, social, prowess? Are you skilled? Right? That's what makes you attractive. And attractiveness is not necessarily sexual. It's just people are drawn to you. I know I'm very attractive, right? Yeah, physically, but beyond that, my ability to speak and my intelligence makes me extremely attractive to people in general. But that's a skill that you build, y'all. The confidence and the communication skills and all that is a skill that you build. Right? Even the people that you say are born with it, they're not born with it. They just developed it when they were younger and they never let it go. Many of you did develop it, but you let it go because you started buying the stories that people told you, right? So that little extra something to add is tap into some of that childhood enthusiasm and zest for life and wonder and commitment and stubbornness that you had. Like when you were a kid and you wanted to be an astronaut. And even if an astronaut himself came down and said, you're not going to be an astronaut, you were like, fuck you, dude. I'm going to be an astronaut. Screw you. Right? That's that childlike enthusiasm and stubbornness that you had, right? Tap into that again. Right? That's that little extra something to add. But in many cases, it's this. Like my agent, he made the effort of going and knocking on that door, but he didn't do that little extra that he already had. Again, you're capable of doing it, by the way. This isn't like you're incapable. He was capable, but he didn't do it. He came up just short. God, isn't that the worst feeling? Man, you know what stopped me from doing that is I would put in so much blood, sweat, and tears and work to get these moments, to get in my car, to go knock on that door, to have that opportunity to speak to the person that I wasn't going to let it slip through my fingers, man. Like ever. No, not going to happen. Not going to happen. Not to me. I work way too damn hard for this moment. And I have knowledge and I have the right thing on my side, right? I have honor, virtues on my side. So when I'm helping a customer and I know they need help, why would I give up? Why would I walk away when I know they need me? Right? That's going to help you. Right? All the blood, sweat, and all the hard work. So now when you show up, you are going to do it. You are going to add that little extra because it's like, man, I worked so hard to get this opportunity. I'm not going to let it slip through my fingers. So what did I tell my agent? I said, you need to do that more. And number two, you need to practice more and put in more time to work on your craft. Because then you're not going to walk away thinking, oh, I should have said this or I should have done this. Right? Now, is that necessarily the case for him? I don't know. Right? But I know in general, he has to, and he has the capacity to work a little bit harder for sure. 100%. Right? So a lot of times we earn that position. I want to talk about that for a few minutes, right? Many times when I had to do this, I earned that position. When you talk to so many people, when you practice and experiment so much with the particular situation, you're going to deliver, man. You're waiting, you're itching. Like when you first get into sales, the salespeople, right? And entrepreneurs, and you don't know the answer to something. Once you learn that answer and you're confident in it, you're almost like, please, somebody give me this objection because I'm going to annihilate it if you give it to me. You have that enthusiasm. Why? Because you've handled that thing and you have a competency in it that you didn't have before. You've put in your time and effort. So now you're waiting for the moment. That's what I'm talking about here. That's how you can, by virtue, add this, automatically add the little extra. So this doesn't even become something complicated and it's simple. Earn it. EARN. Earn it. Put in your work. Put in your time. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. That's the beauty of this thing. Is now, like I said, it's not something extra. It's just it's an extension of you eventually. And when an extension of you, something that's a part of you in your beingness, now becomes extraordinary to other people, and now you are a force to be reckoned with, ladies and gentlemen. And it's a beautiful thing. Okay, so I'll wrap it up here. We'll make this a quick one. Add that little extra something, and you'll see that everything will change. All right, see you guys.